Huh? So, what is your question?
How to approach
the spiritual life?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I don't know physics. I want to know physics. So how do I do, how to approach spiritual life is a question. So I don't know physics. So how do I learn physics?
We need a teacher.
You are a student of IIT, right? And IISc. So you wanted to get you wanted to learn. I don't know whether the background is physics.
It's engineering.
So you're doing engineering. So to learn engineering, okay, I don't know engineering. I want to learn engineering. So what will you do? You'll find the best institution. You'll find the best teacher. You'll get the best coaching. Right? Is spiritual life anything different from that?
Yeah. Should not
right?
be.
What I don't know, I have to get the right understanding from the right teacher, from the right source, or from the best source. Now, people think that spirituality is, first let us understand what is spiritual. Is spirituality a systematic science? Because in science you say, oh, I can understand that because it's science. I can go through some steps. I can learn science. But is spirituality science? Correct? So what is your answer? Is it science, or is it magic, or is it chemistry? It is what is called mysticism? Is it logical? Is it magical?
I think it's not absolute, so it's difficult to tell. It's different for everyone, so I'm not sure if we
So
can.
if it's different from everyone, you don't have any hopes because everybody is different now. So you're a doctor, right? Everybody is different. I have a different heart, you have a different heart, but heart is functioning the same, no?
Yeah.
That's why you're a doctor, right?
Yeah.
Huh? If everybody's heart is different, there cannot be doctors, no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh? Thank God, everybody's hearts are different, but they are functioning identically.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you think any human being functions differently?
No.
The psychological makeup, the spiritual makeup of all human beings is alike.
Yeah.
Thank God. That's why it can be developed as a science, not as magic, not as. If it's magic, you can give up the hopes. It's not spiritual possible for me. Okay. If it's individual, then you can give up the hopes because it's not science. Let me struggle and find out someday.
Right.
Okay. If it is science with the systematic steps, there's some hopes for me.
Correct.
You understand?
Correct.
Is it arts?
I think there might be some amount of art involved also.
No, it's a proper science.
Proper science.
Okay. Because it's proper science, spirituality can be learned like any other subject. It may take time, it may take effort, but there are steps involved, there is a process involved, there is a goal involved. Some people may reach the goal earlier, some people may reach the goal later. But it's definitely a well-defined process. It's not random, it's not magical. It is not a privilege of few. Oh, that man, he's realized he's great. So then we say, oh, that man is privileged. Okay. Spirituality is not the domain of privileged few. Spirituality is for everybody. It's a systematic science. It's a systematic process. But you have to learn from the right source, right master, right institution. If you get it wrong point, wrong everywhere, like anything inside, any other learning, your life will be messed up. Is that clear? So now let us understand what is spirituality. Is it a science? So both of you are three of your scientific background. You tell me, have you heard some science called spirituality? You have heard physical sciences, chemical sciences, quantum science, quantum physics. You have heard. Have you heard anything called science, physics, spiritual science? My dear sir, what are you doing? You are studying. You're so well educated. You tell me, is there a science called spiritual science?
Yeah, I don't think so.
You don't think it is there, or you don't know about it?
We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know about it.
Okay. So now let us understand. You know about science?
Yeah. To
What
the
is science?
fullest extent possible.
Huh?
I guess we know that.
What is science? I don't know about science. You tell me what is science?
Trying to understand nature, what is happening in nature, that is science.
So science is a inquiry into nature, right? Science is the inquiry into nature to find the reality of nature. Correct? So will you ever find the reality of nature? Please understand, I'm asking a fundamental question. Science is trying to find the reality of nature. Will you ever find the reality of nature? Please understand the question very carefully. Have you heard of a theorem called Gödel's incompleteness theorem?
Yeah, it's there in mathematics.
Yeah, it applies to science also.
Oh.
Okay. So now let me ask you the question again, reframe the question. Will a human mind find the reality of nature any point of time? You have hopes as a scientist, because if you don't have hopes, you'll become hopeless, and if you're hopeless, your career will be ruined. That I know. Having hopes and having understanding reality, we are speaking of. A finite mind can never find about the infinite, reality of infinite. Human mind, please understand, human mind is part of the totality. That means it's infinite, small part of the totality. A small part can ever understand the totality. So what science is trying to do, it is trying to create a models of the totality. An understandable model. Understand? I'll show you what science is trying to do, okay? Just 1 minute. So don't feel offended, okay? Don't start shouting at me.
Yeah, that's why we have kept our mute on.
So this is exactly what science is trying to do. Are you able to see the picture? The 5 blind men trying to figure out an elephant. So do you understand what science is trying to do? There is an elephant called reality out there. Okay, our sense organs are limited. Our sense organs are band limited, right? Our ear is band limited. Our 5 sense organs are limited. Our mind is limited. With this limited, we are trying to figure out what is infinite out there. You're making an attempt, I know, no doubt about it, but there's good about effort. Can finite ever understand infinite? You can create a model. These blind people also come with a model. Oh, elephant means it's like a rope. That's a model. Elephant means soft. It's a model. So that's what five blind men try to describe elephant. In scientific terms, we call it as a hypothesis. Right? How did universe start? I start with the hypothesis. That means you make a guesswork. Is it reality? It's a guesswork of reality. No doubt it's a good guesswork. That's called hypothesis. Right? So then what scientist says, we'll start with the hypothesis. Can science start with the reality? Can science ever find the reality? Or anybody can find the reality? A finite can never find the infinite. You understand? So now, scientists are making a good hypothesis, good model of the reality. So quantum model of reality, okay, or we can call phasor model of reality, or Big Bang theory of reality, all are hypotheses of a reality. Because our mind and sense organs are limited. They try to explain the reality through mathematical equations. So then other scientists will come and try to find out. They'll do some experiments. So one blind man says, elephant means like a pillar. So then other five blind men will come and say, oh, this pillar, this height is this much, weight is this much. They're trying to prove that or disprove that. Then one person will come and say, no. It's not a pillar. It is soft. He'll come out with new hypothesis. This old hypothesis will go. So science is always work in progress. Do you agree or disagree? Science is perpetually work in progress. But science is a very good methodology. The methodology of science is good. You start with the hypothesis. Many people try to verify it. Many people try to find an application of that. It will be useful to us. Okay. But it is not, understanding a reality by a finite human mind is impossible. You understand? But you can find the reality. How? You merge with the reality. You become one with the reality. That's what is called God realization. You drop your individuality and become one with the reality. Then you have found the reality. You are not understood the reality. It's not a model of reality. You are the reality. Then only you will understand. That is called spiritual journey. A river, can it ever understand the ocean? River, when it becomes merges with the ocean, river knows the ocean. An individual, when he merges with the universe, then he understands the reality of the universe. That is the discovery of unified field theory. For unified field theory, you have to go beyond your mind. All your models will take you to some level. To understand infinite, finite has to dissolve in infinite. Then you become one with the infinite, then you understand it. Staying separate from the infinite, you will never be able to understand. You understand? So a salt doll is too much worried. I'm a salt doll. I'll dissolve. I'll die. Then somebody tells salt doll, a ocean is there. Ocean is full of salt. Ocean is a grandfather. The salt doll imagines about ocean. It will never understand the ocean. Then one day it goes to ocean. Oh, ocean is so big. It doesn't understand. Then it enters the ocean. Then there's no more salt doll. There's ocean. Now the salt doll has understood ocean. So infinite to understand, you have to drop your finiteness. With finiteness, you can only give models. You can give hypotheses. That merging with the infinite is called spiritual journey. That is called infinite happiness. That's called infinite bliss. That's called God realization. Now, science has given us a lot of good things in life. Okay, starting with the hypothesis, doing experiment and finding the truth, is nothing wrong in that. It gives a lot of benefits to us. But please understand, that's not about reality, that's only model. Tell me, you have studied all these atoms and molecules. Has anybody seen atoms and molecules? They're all models, very good models for operating. But there are still concepts, right? So now, the method of science, there's a method of science. You start with the hypothesis, you start experimenting, and you discover certain aspects of meditation. This thing, right? Are you clear? And science, by definition, is objective in nature. Are we clear? Anything subjective, is it science? Let us raise your hand like this and pinch like this. Okay. Is there a pain? Is pain in the domain of science? No. If the same pinching will give pain to one person, other person will not feel the pain. You measure the parameter of blood flow, temperature, pressure. You'll say there's pain. The person says, I don't have pain. The pain is a subjective experience. Science, domain of science is objective measurement. Are you getting what I'm saying? What is subjective is not in the domain of science. What is objective? So pinch. So one person says, I don't have pain. Another person says, I have pain. Right? Even dentist, as you know, some person will start crying, oh, bro, nothing has happened. Okay, one person has very severe pain. Nothing is, he is not crying. The pain is a subjective experience. You understand? The soldiers are at the warfield. Okay, in our house, if you get a small hit by a door, we'll start crying. We'll make heaven and earth fall. We'll go to hospital, run to hospital. In Kargil war, one soldier took 19 bullets. Okay. After 19 bullets, he went on top of the mountain and he killed many enemy soldiers. An Indian soldier. He got a Paramavir Chakra. He died after that. But 19 bullets in the body. Still is fighting the war. So do you still say the pain is in the domain of science? Is love in the domain of science? Do you love her? Now you are a scientist. No, please tell me and prove that you love her. Huh? How can you be a scientist now? You have to prove that love. So you give her a gift, one flower. Is that love? You adopt a scientific method, right? Objective reality. You give her a flower. Is it love? She will get angry. I want a diamond necklace. So there is a limitation of objectivity you have to understand. Have you understood the limitation of science? The pure subjective experience like love, emotions, feeling, okay, pain, knowledge is not in the domain of science because that's not objective. Are you clear? So there is a then I would say there are two domains of science, objective science and subjective science. Subjective science is about consciousness, about my inner experience. Is consciousness in the domain of science?
Subjective science, but yeah, no, that is coming under the domain of science.
It is coming under the domain of science, but it's only coming as a measurement. Consciousness is measured as brain wave. Consciousness is measured waves in the brain.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That is not subjective. It never tells about consciousness. It's only tells about effects of consciousness.
Yeah.
And if you start doing research on consciousness, you'll not get funding also. Because scientific research, by definition, it should be objective. You come out with the fundamental reality of consciousness. Nobody will prove it. Nobody can prove it. If it cannot be proven, it cannot be published in journals. If it cannot be published in journals, you cannot be called a scientist. Who will fund you? Right? So, in scientists, there's an opinion. The consciousness is the hard problem of science. Have you heard of this? That means consciousness I cannot understand. Are we clear? It's a hard problem of science. Are we clear? Why it's hard problem science? Because it's not objective. It's a subjective experience. Subjective experience is not in the domain of science in that sense. But is it not a science? It's also a science. It's a science of consciousness. Only thing is you don't understand, you don't pursue that research. Are we clear? So now, there's one group of scientists say that consciousness is a hard problem of science. Do you agree? Or disagree?
Agree.
I mean, we are not able to describe it. So, we agree.
Huh?
It's difficult to describe.
It's not difficult to describe. It's beyond the scope of science. Science is objective in nature. How you should be very clear now.
Yeah.
You should not be vague like this. A scientist should be very sharp and clear. What is objective is my domain.
To be sharp and clear about something we don't understand. I think.
No. Consciousness, you'll never be able to define, objectify. That's why it's beyond the scope of science. In the material science. So is matter domain of science?
Yeah.
Is matter easy problem of science?
Yeah.
There is another group of scientists, I'll tell you. They say matter is a hard problem of science. Consciousness is a soft problem of science. You have heard of these scientists?
No.
I've heard of them. I'll tell you why. The matter is really a hard problem of science. You see, matter appears to be very solid. You try to see the matter. Matter is nothing but atoms and molecules, smaller. So it goes to molecules. Then it goes to subatomic particles. Then it becomes energy. Then it becomes quantum field. What is there? Quantum vacuum. Matter is not there. So matter is solid. Matter is solid reality. So there's a group of scientists who say matter is the hard problem of science, not the consciousness. Have you heard of them? You are not heard of them because I hear both sides. You hear only one side. So the matter is really hard problem of science because you will never be able to discover matter because you end up in quantum vacuum, which means nothing. As Pranav, am I speaking something right or wrong?
Yeah. So in field theory, we have this concept of a vacuum, and then particles are excitations of the vacuum state.
What is that in vacuum? Matter. That means matter is nothing. So
yeah, right. Yeah, right now, I mean, we just have a vacuum state. That's what we define.
So right now, you are doing a lot of research about nothing. So when you do a lot of research about nothing, what are you searching for? You are searching for shadows, hypotheses about nothing. So which is real problem of science? Matter, which is hard problem of science? Matter or consciousness? Is consciousness hard problem of science? Is matter hard problem of science? Will you ever find out about matter? You will end up in the vacuum, quantum vacuum. You don't know where to go.
But we are trying to make sense how that nothing can make something.
That is hypothesis. You're not speaking about reality. That I understand. That's why I started with the hypothesis. The reality you will never be able to find out because the reality is not understandable by mind. That's why you're calling it vacuum. How something can come out of vacuum? Nothing. You tell me. The quantum vacuum creates the particles, waves. How something can come out of nothing? Okay, now forget science now. Is consciousness a hard problem for you? As a scientist, for a human being, is consciousness a hard problem?
Yeah.
Are you conscious?
Medically speaking, I'm conscious. I don't know spiritually.
Not medically speaking, yeah. Are you conscious? Simple common man's question. Are you conscious?
I'm conscious of my decisions.
So your consciousness is very obvious to you. So give me can you get me a medical certificate to prove that you are conscious?
We write it in our notes that patient is conscious and oriented.
That's about the other person.
Yeah.
About yourself, do you need a proof? Is consciousness self-obvious to you? Say you are going into a dark room. Okay. I'll ask you, is there a chair? Then what will you say? I don't know, I can't see.
Yeah.
Right? Because there is light required. Is there a table? I don't know. Are you there? What will you say?
Yes.
Does it need a proof? Does it require light?
No.
I am there. I am conscious is self-obvious to me. So, but is there quantum vacuum, quantum physics, or matter is there? That's not obvious to me. I need to do research.
Yeah.
So consciousness is self-obvious to you. That's why consciousness is a soft problem for me. Matter is a hard problem. So the scientists say consciousness is self-obvious. The matter is the hard problem of science, because the more you search matter, you will find nothing. So which group you belong to? These two categories now. Please understand, a scientist has to speak the truth. Okay. So I have explained the problem to you. Consciousness is obvious. The matter is not obvious. But scientists say consciousness is not obvious, matter is obvious. Are you speaking the reality? Okay, so the science of consciousness is also well-developed science. That's called Adhyatma Vijnana. Okay, the scientific discovery is made by many scientists. Is there some subject called science? Who created science? Many scientists created it. Science is a body of knowledge, right? So there's a body of knowledge about consciousness, a huge body of knowledge. That body of knowledge is called Vedanta. It's as good science because people have done inner journey, inner discovery. They have shared that inner discovery, just like a scientist shares the inner experience. So if you want to study science, you have to go to a good school, good teacher, and learn science. Similarly, inner journey, you have to learn the science of spirituality called Adhyatma Vijnana. It's called Vedanta. The Vedanta is also arrived at by many enlightened people. They have written down their experiences, inner journey. So we have to understand that body of knowledge and we have to do inner journey. Ultimately, discovery is yours. The body of knowledge is available. That body of knowledge is called Vedanta. Just like learning any science, you'll have to learn science of Vedanta from a master, from a good school. I heard of one professor in America. He used to travel 200 miles every day to teach 5 students in a class in another university. Have you heard of that fellow? So only thing is, in that 5 students, 2 people got Nobel Prize. The person who is traveling is the Nobel laureate. If you want to get a Nobel Prize, you have to study under a Nobel laureate. Similarly, a realized person will be able to guide you in a proper direction. In spiritual journey also, you have to need a best teacher, the best subject to do your journey. Is that clear? So the science of Vedanta has steps. It is called Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga. Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Kriya Yoga, Jnana Yoga. There are 4 aspects of science. We have 4 aspects of human being: the head, the heart, the hands, and energy. The spiritual science is transformation of these: head, heart, hands, and energy. Head is the intellect. Intellect gets transformed when you get the right understanding of life, right perspective of life. That's called Vedanta. The hands is, my hands are there. I want to do work. So that work I have to do as a service. That's called Karma Yoga. My heart, emotional heart, I have to clear up. That's called devotion, bhakti. A devotion clears the emotion. And there's the energy system in me. Okay, that energy system has to be fine-tuned. That's called Kriya Yoga. Head, heart, hands, and energy. See, working on these things is called spiritual journey. Right? So any of these learning of this require a competent teacher, a competent science, competent understanding, and a continued learning. It won't happen overnight. It's a slow transformation process, but it's worth the effort. So have I answered your question?
Yes.
What is the next question?